Marco, hello, one more time today. Thank you for your invitation to the Brazilian city, to the Brazilian common, to the country. It's very interesting here. We already spent a lot of time here, like mostly more than 1 week already. And we already were in São Paulo. It's a very colorful city with its narrow streets and interesting people. And now we're in Brazilian city. It differs much. It's wide prospects and big buildings, and everything is clear and everything is perfect. I'm very glad that I visit this country and that you are guiding me in all these sites and streets and cafes and restaurants. It's very cool. So you're a lawyer here in Brazilian city and in Brazil, international lawyer. Could you please tell me about your company and what cases you are dealing with here?
Thank you, Vasily. Welcome here to Brazil. It's an honor to be here with you. My name is Marco Antonio Rochael. I'm a lawyer since 2004, and I deal here in Brazil with international law. More than 20 years with international law connected with insurance law, family law, or business law. I studied in Spain, international business transactions there, in São Paulo also international law, here in Brazil, postgrad with involving entrepreneurs, contracts, international contracts. So it's been a long journey, and I'm very, very happy so that we are here together, you came, and we are here to help entrepreneurs, citizens, Russia, Brazil, with connected interests.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's a good chances for us to help our customers in Russia and Brazilian city. Let's discuss exactly cases, exactly topics of your legal support here. Now, Brazil is a member of BRICS. I think this time nowadays is a good opportunity for us to collaborate between Russia and Brazil. And I think that one of the questions that can be interesting for Russian customers is how to register a company here. So, for example, let's say if Russian customer wants to open here a branch, to make activities here, to make business here, the question is, so could you explain if it's possible, what are the main types of legal entities here? Like let's say 1, 2, maybe 3 types, what is most popular here? And what is the most common type of legal entities?
Okay, this approach, international entrepreneurs, if they want to have their companies here, it's very important. They must know that they need someone here as a resident to represent the company. There will be a non-resident, they will be there. So his representative here will be, the law needs that someone,
some
local here to represent. We are here ready to help companies abroad to be established here, officially registered, and the companies here locally can help them to seize the opportunities that we can offer, involving a lot of issues of the law, involving the business laws for agriculture, for industries, for infrastructure, everything that.
So, and you said that one local guy must be as a director, and who can be the founders? Can it be only foreigners, or obligatory it must be like one person from the Brazil?
Yeah, you can have a lot of partners, citizens, foreigners, but the tax authority, for example, he needs a Brazilian, a resident guy here.
At least one.
At least one to be the resident, just for the official communications. If the government needs to have a communication with the company, we need this local person here.
Okay, understand. What should be the registered capital? So, for example, in Russia, if you want to open the company, let's say, you need just, it can be only one founder, one director. You need not, I will explain in Russia, you need not to have obligatory accountant, you need not to have obligatory lawyer. You just need foundation capital 10,000 rubles. It's like $130, 5 days for registration, and you are the owner and director of the company. It's very simple in Russia, at least for Russian customers, for Russian persons. Yeah. For foreigners, it's a little bit hard nowadays because of the sanctions, because of new policy of Russia about the Russian citizens. But it's also possible, it's also not so hard. And for Brazil, what should be the registered capital?
Yeah, it's the same. When you have, for example, a limited liability company, you must think that you must put the valuation there, this capital there, and that is linked with your liability. So it's very important to know the size of your company, what you're going to do, because if you commit a mistake involving these numbers of your company, maybe your limited liability will not be so limited as you think it should be. So you can have only one partner or one person in your company, or how many partners you want, but you need the local, and then the rest is the same.
And the amount of registered capital, foundation capital, what is the minimum sum you must deposit to the bank account for the company to open it?
The minimum sum you can put there, for example, $200. $200. But imagine that you are a big infrastructure company. If you want to work here with infrastructure and, for example, public constructions, with this $200, it will not fit. You cannot go for a bid like that. That amount will be involved with your liability. So when we start to do, for example, big business, you must to link that to reality.
Okay. And responsibility of the founder is only inside the amount of the foundation capital. In Russia, it works so. Yeah, it's the same here.
Yeah, it's like that.
Of course, we don't speak about the subsidiary liability. Yeah, do you know such meaning?
Yeah.
Of course, if you did something wrong, if director founder did something wrong, maybe stole some money, of course he must be responsible for bigger amount than just foundation capital.
Yeah, that's the second matter. You can suffer the disregard of legal entity, and then you have big problem, limited anymore.
Okay. What is the company registration period? I mean, how much time you need to register the company here?
How long it takes to have a company?
Yeah.
Oh, you can within a week. If you come, you just landed today in the capital here in Brasilia. You go to the tax authority to prepare the first numbers of registration, and you go to the accountant, the accountability, and within a week you can have your registration, and you can spend at about $200 for this initial step.
Very simple.
Yeah, very simple.
In Russia is the same. The question that I wanted to ask, maybe already answered on the question. So, okay, let's say company registered, it appeared in the register, like the list, register list and register office. What are the further expenses of an entrepreneur after the setting up the company? So, I mean, what are the expenses, for example, let's say, approximately price of renting an office, or salary of the accountant, or salary of the lawyer if it's obligatory needed? Just in common sums, if you could explain.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the company. For example, you can start in a co-working, a building there or a room with a lot of co-workers. Maybe it's enough. If you're a construction company, maybe you need some big size place, and of course the rental will just follow the size of your...
Renting the office in co-working is enough to show this address, this office, to take services.
It's enough.
Okay.
It's enough. But of course, as I mentioned before, if it's a construction company or a store that will deal with products, a co-working will not be appropriate, because where will you keep your products if you are selling your products? So it depends on the...
This is the question already.
It depends on the business. Construction company, as I mentioned, where are your machines or the tractors? So
But in common office, for example, 1 square meter, what's the price of rent?
the cost for 100 square meters office, it's about the average like $600 US dollars for 100 square meters office.
Okay. Is it obligatory to have an accountant and lawyer in a new law firm, or it depends on the will of the owner?
The accountant, every company needs to have the accountability, because every month the accountant must send the information to the tax authority. Even if you are not dealing with incomes, it's an obligation to have the firm, the company, with the accountants there.
Okay. Let's talk about the tax systems. Shortly.
Tax systems.
Yeah. Shortly. That's a very big topic.
It's
Yeah. But what are the main?
We say that it's a challenge. It's true that the companies and the accountants cannot say strictly what are the taxes they pay. And we are in the middle of a change of the tax law system here, and it's going to be a surprise for everybody. It's very complicated, but we keep...
How can you plan then doing the business if you don't know how much you will pay? So that's very interesting.
That's why it's important to have a lawyer.
You need to earn much to be able to pay taxes.
Yeah, if you start as a small company and become a big company, you need to have a tax lawyer, or you will have problems.
What are the rates of these taxes? I don't know if you can account, let's say, how many percent your company in Brazil will pay, like, I don't know, 40%, 50% of all taxes, of all payments.
It depends on the income. For example, a company that, let's see, 3 million Brazilian real is like 3-4 million is like $700,000 per year. We can say that the rate's gonna be like 14%.
14.
Yeah. We get a tax here called Simples Nacional. Connects the whole taxes in one single charge, and it's about 14%.
And nothing more.
And nothing more.
Only maybe personal income tax, yeah, but nothing more.
Nothing more. It's like if your income is limited to just like $700,000 per year.
That's very good.
It's very interesting to simplify for these small companies.
Okay, I understand. Are there any other features that you would like to mention about the taxation system? Maybe, I don't know.
That's the point. It's interesting. We are now, the law changed, and we are in the middle of this change. So we're waiting for, well, what's new? What's new? You're about to know, and then we'll tell the whole world.
We'll discuss it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it in some months.
Let's talk about the commercial dispute.
Okay.
One of the, I think, mostly spread topics, and I think it would be interesting. How is the commercial court system structured? Just shortly, which courts mainly hear commercial disputes? They are all state courts or arbitration courts, like in Russia it names arbitrage, like commercial courts also used?
Yeah, when we talk about international commercial transactions, forget the local courts. You go to arbitration, and because Brazil is part of the New York Convention, 1958 New York Convention for the recognition and enforcement of foreign awards. That's all. If you go to a local court, maybe you can not have problems, but the foreign company, for example, don't want the local judge to touch that dispute. Mm-hmm. And Brazilians don't want the foreign judge to touch the dispute. Also because of the expertise maybe of the international contracts, and the arbitrators are ready to deal with this dispute. So if you are dealing with international commercial, this international commercial transaction, so go for arbitration. That's the proper way.
Suppose the Russian commercial organization wishes to apply to a court in your country to recover a debt from a counterparty. Is it mandatory to comply with the pre-litigation, pre-suit demand letter procedure? And if so, what period is given to the counterparty to voluntarily satisfy the demand, if it's obligatory?
We must read the contract. You know the midnight clauses? You start with the name of the parties, we start with all those obligations, and then in the end, the midnight clause, you must read that. What it says: mandatory mediation, mandatory conciliation, and if the contract says nothing, you can just go straight to court. You are the plaintiff, you just set the process there, the action, and then the judge will invite the defendant just to come. So we must read the end of the contract, what it says.
Okay, understand. So it's not obligatory in all cases, let's say?
No.
Okay. Does the plaintiff have any other obligations before going to court, for example, to resort to mediation, for example? Maybe this is obligatory, not?
No, we must read the contract.
Okay.
We have only, for example, when we have like real estate and fire and real estate connected with the government funds, then the plaintiff needs, for example, to send two notice for the defendant before going to court, just to see if the payment comes after this communication, or if it's needed to go to the court.
Mediation proceedings are not obligatory, but could you explain how it works if somebody will try to use it?
We have our mediation law edited on 2015, the year 2015. And you see, when they edicted the law, the first mediation, I did the first mediation here. We were interviewed on the TV. We were successful mediation. Then I can show you later this video on the TV, exactly on the day that started the mediation law here in Brazil, 2015.
But it's really working, because in Russia, like the same, I don't remember exactly year, but like the same, like the law about the mediation started. But as I see, it doesn't work, at least in courts of the common jurisdiction. It doesn't work, I think it's my opinion. I have the status of mediator also in Russia, and I've got it 7 years ago when this law was issued, and I thought that this topic will increase, the interest to these proceedings will increase, but I tried like 1-2 years and nobody was interested there. And I have such certificate, but I don't use it. Maybe in commercial courts it used more often, but I can't say that it's used like in the United States or in Europe everywhere. Everyone tries to use it, and it's very expensive there also. But in Russia, I can't say that we are using it every time and very often. And
here it's like that, but in commercial dispute, maybe parties want to discuss a little bit more before going to the arbitration or courts. And family law is common. Maybe it's better not to, when you discuss those family matters, the people harm themselves. So it's better, mediation is useful for those cases.
You know, Jan, as I see, problem is that when one of the spouses came to you, and you offer, let's use mediation proceedings, and you are telling, he's asking how it will be. I'm telling, okay, I will call to your spouse and we will offer. And second spouse already thinking that if this is a mediator, but mediator is nobody, he don't belong to anybody, he is the middle. If this mediator of my husband, for example, calling to me and offering something, then they will cheat 100%, they will lie to me. So this is the problem, that people just don't believe how it works, and they don't believe in like that it will be clear. I think this is the problem.
Yeah, maybe it's a matter of communication. Sometimes the husband doesn't want to talk to the wife anymore, and the mediator, maybe it's the link that they need maybe to solve the problem that they think they cannot solve. You know, I think it's a matter of communication. If the communication doesn't start, so forget the mediation.
Yeah. Tell me, please, let's return to commercial disputes here. Who can be the representative in a court in commercial disputes? So, can this be any person with the power of attorney from the company, or a lawyer with a special advocate status? And how the system of judicial representation organized in your country? Do you have lawyer monopoly? I will explain why I'm asking for it. Because in Russia, the lawyers monopoly, advocates monopoly, discussing already maybe 5 years that it will happen. Now, there's no lawyers advocates monopoly. It doesn't work now, but in future it will come 100%. And how it works in your country? Does any lawyer can arrive to a court, or it must be only lawyers and only advocates?
No, not only advocates. There is this monopoly, and you can have someone with the power of attorney to represent the company. But maybe depending on the case, the lawyer must be invited to deal better with the dispute.
So status of advocate is not obligatory?
That's not.
Okay. Now let's return to the situation with the filing the lawsuits in Brazil. For example, let's say from Russia somebody will file maybe from our customers. Is it possible to impose provisional remedies, arrest of the debtor's funds and property at the stage of filing a claim? And also, how difficult is to do it? Do the judges easily impose an arrest, or is very strong evidence required to prove that it is necessary? How it works?
For foreigners, the courts will ask for a guarantee if you want some preliminary orders that come to, for example, to block funds from the defendant. Because maybe if you order some preliminary, you withdraw some cash from the defendant's account, and then you fail in the end of the process, If the money is abroad, it's gonna be very difficult just to put it back. So if you want something like that, you must put some guarantee for the justice, for the judge, so that the process can move on with the preliminary order.
How long does the trial at first instance take on average in commercial court?
It's very difficult to say. It depends on the complexity of the action, but let's say that 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
That's why you need to go to arbitration.
Not,
3 years.
Not like a half a year, for example, or a year.
No.
It's the only first instance.
First instance, not the appeal. No. When you come to the appeal, you can put 3, 4, 5 years more.
Wow, it's very long.
But after appeal, you have the third instance, we can call like that, and then you have to wait.
It's very long. And what is the time between court sessions in the first instance? For example, in Russia, let's say it can be like one time a month. It's but usually it's faster. One time 2 weeks court sessions in the Russian immigration court and in your country.
No, it's the same court section.
But what are you doing 3 years so close? Okay, first time we gathered and discussed just the lawsuit and the explanation. Second time, if there is no any complicated things, court decision. This is the way. If it's not complicated case, what are you doing 3 years? We've got court decision of the first instance, and what is the procedure for appealing a court decision? So what instances are there for appeal?
Here what we had, the first instance and the court of appeal. First instance and then the court of appeal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then it's done. But
it's coming to force.
Yeah. No, it's coming to force. But if the decision of the Court of Appeal harms a federal law, you have the third tribunal called STJ, Superior Tribunal of Justice. So if the decision of the Court of Appeal harms a federal law, you can have another appeal to this court. If this decision harms constitutional disposition, you can go to the Supreme Court of Justice. So you have, and if the decision of the Court of Appeal harms both federal law and the constitutional law, you can appeal for both. And then you wait.
Well, I will not ask you, I think 10, 15 years, yeah?
Like that.
Let's discuss in details. What is the deadline for filing a complaint after a court decision at first instance?
For the first instance, the Court of Appeal, it's the same, it's 15 days.
15 days.
15 days.
Mm-hmm. And after Court of Appeal, like 2 months? They simplified our process code for it's 15 days, 15 days
for
also.
every petition.
Every stage. Let's speak about the execution of the court decisions. How long, in your experience, does it take to process the entire case from the demand to the writ of execution?
This is really fast. But what's the problem that we see? I've been dealing with more than 15,000 executions, and the problem is, where's the asset? Where's the money? So when it starts fast, but maybe in 15 days it stops, and if it stops for a long period, the judge will say, if there is no asset, if there is no money, there is no process of execution.
Uh-huh.
So they put it on the files and stop your action, because if you cannot find how to recoup your money, So you cannot keep your process here in the court. That's the point.
Okay. And I know here that you also helped foreigners to execute court decisions that were received at foreign jurisdictions. You can help here in Brazil to improve it, yeah, to execute it here. What are the proceedings? How long it takes? How much it costs? If you can say just a little bit about this process.
Remember when we discussed about the decision of the Court of Appeal that harms the federal law, the process goes to the STJ, Superior Tribunal of Justice. This tribunal is the court where we present foreign award. It's a simple process because this court will not discuss again what happened there. You just see if the process was proper. When the lawyer presents the award, you just prove that the process was valid, and then this court will just check, will call the counterpart, just so that she can know that we have this process here for recognition and enforcement, and then it's done.
And how
it's
fast
very
is
simple.
It? Like some month?
Some months. Yeah, it depends of the first communication to find the defendant. Maybe they come both together. For example, on family awards, family awards, maybe they come both to present the award because they want, for example, to solve some aspects involving alimonies for the kids. So they come together, they present, and it's
and the list of documents, like usual, Cottore, apostille from in foreign jurisdiction, yeah? Apostille Cottore and some taxes and so.
So yes, an apostille, and just to prove, for example, that the party had the opportunity to put the reasons to have a valid process. You translate everything, and it's done. It's simple.
Okay. And you, of course, provide such services, yeah?
Of course.
Okay, good. One more question we missed at the start of this discussion about the filing of the lawsuit. If you are going to file the lawsuit against the company, you are filing it according to the place of registration of this company. I mean, what exactly court? Will it be court of Brazilian city or court of São Paulo or somewhere else? In Russia, it works this way. So if company registered in Moscow, then you have to file to Moscow arbitration court. If St. Petersburg, then St. Petersburg arbitration court. How it works in Brazil?
For example, if you work properly with international aspects of the contract, there is no problem because we will do it where the asset is. You will not lose your time going to another place or the site of the company because maybe you have a lot of branches and the money is in the other place. So if you choose for arbitration, you can choose. It's like the foreign shopping. You know the asset. You need the asset. But that's the point. But if the process was on courts or the state, and then maybe you will have to go to the site of the company, and if the asset's not there, you will be there for nothing. So that's why when you begin your journey in this dispute, find an expert just to assist you. If you do the right job at the beginning, you will have no problems with that.
Yeah. We already touched this topic shortly, but the question is that, is it possible to hold founders, directors, or other persons vicariously liable if we cannot collect money from the company? In other words, is it possible to collect debts not from the company but from the director and founders personally?
Yeah. The representative, the directors, they must work properly. If they just go this way, like this way, not following the rules, they are responsible for their acts. So you can, as I mentioned before, You have the disregard of legal entity. So the company is not there anymore. Now you can see the persons. See? And then they will, all their funds, their assets will guarantee that problem that they create.
Okay, I understand. In Russia it's the same, yeah. If director did something wrong, and not occasionally even, but like especially, then yeah, he can have a problem.
Yeah.
If you can say, how much do legal services cost on average? So, for example, representation in a court for 1 day of the work, like 1 hour of the work, and on average, for example, drafting a statement of claim or handling a case in full, if you wish 1 hour rate of how it works in the country.
Yeah, we have this huge list of service from our bar association. We have this minimum, and then when you face the case, you can increase from the minimum depending on the complexity of the case. And here it's like it's recommended for the bar association. You increase if you are postgrad, if you have a master degree, if you have a PhD, if how long you work as a lawyer, you can increase from the minimum to using this.
It depends on the qualification of the lawyer.
The qualification, the time you've been working, and the complexity, we can make a sum of all these issues, and then you can have the amount just to fix. Because, see, sometimes the clients come and say, you exploited me. And then you were the lawyer, and now you are the defendant. So the bar association maybe will be invited to go to the court and say, no, everything is proper here. There is no problem with the fees. So we have just to follow the minimum, just work properly like that.
But let's say, I don't know, in Russia, drafting the document, $100.
How much?
$100. One document, let's the simple document. Yeah, when we speak about the common cases like family cases between private persons, of course, when we speak about the arbitration courts, it can be 400, 500 and more. Or no, in Brazil, what is the price for drafting simple documents?
No, it starts like it's the same. A simple draft of the small contract can start from $150 also. Yeah, it's like that.
And lawsuit also, yeah. Lawsuit contract.
Yeah, it depends. Lawsuit and it depends. Family law or for entrepreneurs, then you have the sections there.
Yeah. No, family law, yeah. I mean, we're discussing like if family law, it's the minimum price, not so expensive. Yeah. Okay, so let's discuss now family issues. Divorce, property division, child support, and children. And all these cases are very important for our customers because it's their own life and life only one, and they need to decide it. And especially, it's very hard sometimes to help when we deal with the children, when parents can't decide with whom child will live. It's very, very serious questions. How does marriage dissolve with or without children? Is the spouse's consent required in Brazil, or it's not obligatory consent of second spouse? And is it possible to get a divorce without going to a court, or anyhow you shall go to the court?
Yeah, it's like that. For example, divorce involving kids. We have some institutions here to deal with that without the need to go to the court. But when we involve kids, for example, we must be assisted by a prosecutor and the court so that this prosecutor can protect the interests of the kids. You know, you have these two ways. If everything is okay, you go to these institutions. But if everything is okay, but you have kids, so we must go to the court. Yeah.
In Russia is the same. What is the cost of filing fees for divorce?
filing fees for divorce.
Yeah, like how much you shall pay to the court that your case would be heard.
Oh, small taxes. That's like 100 US dollars. Just to put the process.
Because I know,
on.
I have many foreign customers, and for example, in Russia now it's the same. Before it was, let's say, $4 was the tax. Now it becomes bigger, like $80, I think, for the divorce. But foreign customers from Europe, he's saying, wow, it's very cheap, because in Europe, divorce can cost like 20,000 US dollars, 30,000 US dollars, just divorce without any complicated things.
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. For example, if you need to deal with alimonies for the kids and you need some evidence about this or that, and then the $100 I mentioned will go to $300 because you have a lot of actions that the judge must put on track just to solve that issues,
If we go into the court with the divorce case, how often are divorce hearings held? I mean, how often during the month or during the year? Also, how long does it take for divorce to take place in a court from the filing of the petition until the court decision comes into effect?
I dealt with a lot of divorce. The fastest was 28 days. And other involving, as I mentioned, the alimonies, for example, maybe first instance, 1 year, like that. Yeah.
It's because these are courts for the private persons. It's not commercial courts. It's much faster than you told about the commercial disputes here.
Yeah, and that's 1 year not because of complicated issues, but because the judge there has a lot of words just to put on the table. A lot.
Okay. With whom do courts most often leave children after divorce? For example, in Russia, absolutely majority of the cases, children are given to the mother. Like 95%, maybe 98%. I don't know statistic, but according to my cases, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 times a judge gave children to the father. And even not all, but like 1 child to the father, 1 to the mother. Or if the mother is very bad person, like drug addicted or something like this, then judge will give to the father. But in usual cases, all children given to the mother. How it works in Brazil?
Yeah. Now here we have this law that share this question. The law says that both will be with the kids. So what remains for the mother and for the father is just to organize how it's going to be. The law says that father and mother has the same rights, so it's split 50-50%. It's different the residence, but the residence doesn't mean that if she lives with the mother, she guides everything. For example, what's to be with the children is to take care of the children. The children can live with the mother, but for example, what religion will the children follow? Mother and father must discuss. It's not because the kids live with the mother that the mother decides the religion. So that's the point. The resident, they can only live there. How will they live in 2 houses at the same time? No, they can go there and here and there, but the rights and the obligations of both are equal. So they must decide how it works. That's why we say that this never ends while the kids are under 18 here. Because the divorce is there, the kids live, for example, with the mother, but both father and mother will guide the kids. And when you have problem, they do the petition. Hey, judge, he said that. And you decide that. and then again, and the next year, and then the next year, until the kids reach 18 years old.
Let's speak about shortly what are the in common alimonies. What are the sum of alimonies? For example, kids will live with the mother. How much father shall pay for one child, for two children, monthly?
We have two kinds of alimony here. We have the alimony that its quantity is the minimum for the needs, for example, of the kid, for medicines, for education, for transport, for the dressing. But if your father is famous, so the alimony will be, the quantity of the alimony will follow how famous is your relative, your parent.
In Russia, for example, in common here, for one child it's 25% of income, two children 33% of income, and three and more 30% of income father should pay. In Brazil, the same.
Yeah, you can put as like the 30%, but if the 30% is very heavy to be supported, then you do the petition and you show no, this is too much. He studies in school like that, he just get dressed like that, the medicines he take, the pills like that. Let's just this mathematics here, and then you show, and the prosecutor and the judge say, okay, let's do it.
That's very interesting, Marco. Tell me, please, what are the main ideas about the dividing the property between spouses? How it divided? Usually, it's like 50-50, or how it works?
It depends. When they get married, they decide how the properties will be treated. So they can get married saying that everything that they have previous the marriage or after will belong to the house, belongs to the couple. That's the moment that you must decide it.
Yeah, and 50-50, yeah.
You can have how do I
marital
say?
Contracts.
That's it. Mm-hmm. You can also add this parallel contract there just to deal with some specific property, for example.
Okay. Thank you very much for this dialogue, for answering the questions. That it was very interesting. I can say that mostly law of Brazil and Russia, they not differs much in common. It's similar, but it's very interesting to discuss, to know how it works in your country. And I'm sure that this dialogue would be interesting for customers in Russia and maybe in Brazil also, and will help our customers in this international sphere in commercial disputes and in family litigations and opening the companies. Thank you very much one more time for invitation to your office, beautiful office, to your country, to Brazil, that you showed me everything. That was very cool. You are a very kind, clever person. I like you very much.
Thank you very much. It was an honor to be here with you. This is not my office. This is your office. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.